Hello everyone, it's Dr. 1 here once again. I'm coming back after 3 months off, because I've been a bit busy recently, but I'm back and doing another rant for you lot, because my other rant was actually semi-popular, so I'm going to do another one here. And guess what, everyone? It's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Related one again. Hooray! But this time not on the card game. In fact, this is one that I feel really strongly about. This is a rant on the frankly terrible Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's English dub by 4Kids Entertainment. You son of a bitch. 4Kids. Anyway, the point being here is this rant is going to probably split into 3 different parts. There's going to be 3 parts for editing. There's going to be 1 part for editing, beg pardon, sorry. 1 part for dialogue, and 1 for voice acting. Basically, because these are the 3 main things I would say make up an anime, really. Dialogue, voice acting, and editing. Especially if you're dubbing it from the original Japanese version, editing is very important. So, here we go again. As you may or may not know, 4Kids have practically butchered Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and I don't care what most people say, I honestly think this is by far the worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Dub ever, really. I would even go far enough to say it's worse than the GX dub, and I absolutely despise the GX dub. Especially with that shitty theme song of Get Your Game On. Mind you, the newer catchphrase is not any better. Anyway, we're not going to go into that until a little bit later. So, yeah, as I say, I would say this is probably the worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Dubbed, actually, because this just plainly has the most awful, for a start, it has the most awful voice actors, because they literally recycled the old voice actors from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Put all the insignificant minor character ones, Tristan Taylor, Frank Fraxon, who plays him, and Ted Lewis, like for example, who plays Bakura, who, look, another insignificant character in the anime. Although, okay, granted, Bakura was a bit more useful later on, but he was insignificant in the anime to start off with anyway, so he was pretty much insignificant minor character man, thank you, LK. And, you know, they also put most of the major voice actors from the original in there as well, but only as minor characters. For example, Dan Green, who plays, as you probably all know, Yugi himself and the Ten, voiced Yusho, the security guard who goes after Yusei in the at the start of the anime, really. Or, as he's known as, Trudge. That is just, frankly, the most terrible pun I have ever heard in my life. To be brutally honest with you, that is just crap, beyond belief. Anyway, and, Eric Stewart, who played Kaiba, as you already, well, I presume most of you already know, also voiced, Jill DeLance Bowen, I think he's called in the Japanese version, Night Guy. Or, as he's called in English, Sir Ramsborg. Again, rubbish name for kids. But we'll go on to their names in a minute. But yeah, as I was saying, that they put some of the minor character ones and put them as the main characters, and they put the major ones as minor ones, so that makes no sense. Plus they get some of the cast and figures from other animes or other franchises which they're from. For example, Bella Hudson, who plays Aki, or Akiza, voices Blaze the Cat from Sonic the Hedgehog, and more famously from, if you've ever watched the GX dub, she plays Sayo's little sister, who I can't remember her Japanese name, but she's called Serena in the dub. So you know what I mean, really. But you know, some other insignificant characters from GX are put into 5D. And to be brutally honest, you can't get any better voice actors than that, 4Kids. I mean, seriously? Dear me. Dear me. The one thing that really ticks me off about this, really, is the fact that it is my favourite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series in Japanese. It's actually probably my favourite overall, because I like Duel Monsters, the original, with Yugi and Kaiba and all that, but I don't think that's as good. It's not as dark as 5D, and I prefer my animes darker, so I do like 5D in terms of that. The storyline's a lot better, I think, as well, although I did like the whole Ancient Egypt thing in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Although I did have to admit some of the sagas, like, say, the Virtual World one with Noah and the Orichalcos saga, didn't really make much sense to me. I mean, what does Atlantis have to do with Ancient Egypt is way beyond me. Complete filler seasons and not really needed. Whereas GX, I would say it's probably my least favourite, because the first two series are a load of bull crud, really. They don't have any particular plot, and the plots are rubbish and all bitty. Season 3 was okay, and Season 4 was rushed, but GX was overall not bad, but probably my least favourite. And then you've got the Shadow Games, which was never released outside of Japan, and I like that anime as well, but if we're going to be basing on the card game ones, I would say 5D is probably my favourite, and overall it's probably my favourite. Don't ask me why, I just do think it's my favourite. So, when 4Kids turned around and said, "We're dubbing 5D!" I was like, no! Why? And then I saw, the funniest thing I read about that was the whole, anime fans rejoiced as 4Kids Entertainment get the rights for Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, and I was like, which anime fans are these then? The retarded ones? No offense to anyone who actually did say that, I'm not saying you're all retards basically, but I do honestly think anyone who thought 4Kids getting the rights for Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, you really do need to get your head examined. I'm sorry, but that is bloody terrible. But overall, I think, yeah, it was just practically a very bad piece of news for me. I mean, why couldn't we get someone else doing it, like Funimation, or, I don't know, just any other dubbing company that actually dubs a fairly decent anime? I mean, like, well, any anime which is dubbed by a company that isn't 4Kids, basically. I think any other company could have dubbed it better than 4Kids, personally, but, you know, what can you do? So, as I was saying, it was a real shock to me when they were coming. Actually, it wasn't a shock, because I had a feeling they were going to dub it anyway. But I am pretty pleased that they haven't dubbed, or according to them, they are not dubbing Season 2 with the Dark Sigma sagas. And I can hear the average fanboy go, "Hooray!" Because everyone is so relieved. Although I have seen some people go on the 4Kids YouTube page and go, "Oh, when you dub the second series, can you make it better?" And I'm like, please don't tell them to dub Season 2, just please don't. I mean, they're not... I can't see how they're going to edit half the stuff in Season 2 out and make the series... well, even make the series, personally, it would just look terrible. So I'm so relieved that I heard they weren't dubbing it again for Season 2, and they're going back to GX Season 4. Now, I must admit, I do feel a bit downhearted for poor GX, actually, there, and I must admit, I'm even supporting GX here. I didn't want to see it dubbed Series 4-wise, but maybe for some of you Americans out there, that'd be a good thing, because you might get Tag Force 3 after all this time, which we Brits have, so haha. But obviously you Americans always import it anyway, so, you know, no big deal there. But as I was saying, it was a real shock to the system, really, and it wasn't a good thing to see 5Ds being dubbed by 4Kids, and seeing what I saw was frankly terrible. The editing is appalling, and I will go on to that in the next bit, especially when you see other things. The name changes are unnecessary, which will also come into editing. Voice acting, I will actually do some impersonations of them, because I honestly think I've cracked the impersonations of these people and how frankly terrible they sound. They are that bad. But there you go again. It's a real shame, really, but I'm going to go on to that in the next bit anyway. So, for now, this is Dark Sargoso 1. Join me in part 2 for the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D rant as I battle this very poor anime.